Okay, so now we're recording. And today on the podcast, I'm talking with two people who run the YouTube channel, the Protag Project. I'm with Katie and Allison. They're two of the most.
Sorry.
No, you're good. They're two of the most consistent creators I'm aware of at this scale. When I reached out to them, they had 100 subscribers, and as I'm saying this, they have 102. I wanted to have them on because posting the first piece of content, I think, is the hardest. And then, like, after that, it's posting consistently and getting your first sort of fans, subscribers, followers, customers, whatever you're doing. You get minimal to no feedback from comments, conversations, or data, and your technical capability to build a good product is that it's the worst it'll ever be. Oh my god, these scripted intros, man. It's so like it's a new thing for me. I feel like I see why people do this like before
Yeah.
or after, but it's like
Yeah.
then you have to edit and then I have to like export a 1 hour file. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
that's why I just do it all now, but it's weird. Anyway, okay. I'm excited to have you guys on and just talk about like what it's like to be a new creator and try to grow from scratch and everything that comes with that.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having us on here.
For sure. So just to start off, why don't you guys tell us like what the Protag project is and why you decided to start it?
Wow. That's a question right there. The Protag project has really kind of gone through a few iterations since it was originally like hatched up. Our phase one was a much larger group of women, and we were looking to highlight people who have really like embraced their dreams in the community and wanted to be more of a network of bloggers, content creators in general. Katie, tag out.
Yeah, so to kind of go off what you were saying, that's kind of where we started. It was really just about following your dreams, whatever they may be, being the protagonist of your own life and taking hold of those reins and really just following your path in life. And yeah, I think we did a lot of things starting out where obviously, like she said, we started with a couple different women, and then we also had some guys who would do some stuff for us. And we kind of, as time has gone on, tapered it down to just a few individuals who we'll have on here. All people who are incredibly passionate, have different goals and dreams in life. And so it's been really awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
so
and, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it sounds like you had people that wanted to do something maybe a little bit different off the, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm just sort of trying to consolidate what you said and understand it, which is you wanted to have people that were a little bit trying to go off the beaten track. And you sort of saw starting to create content as a way to build a community in that. Or is there another sort of specific, you mentioned women, so was it women specific to start, and is it still that, or
it was in phase 0 and then we expanded from there. Or I think like the original idea was very woman oriented, and then once we kind of took a step back, and this is before we even started creating videos, we were like, you know what, nah. And we brought in some of our guy friends as creators as well. So that's why, like, when I say, like, wow, that's a loaded question, is because we have gone through so many iterations. But I think what the Protag project really is now is, I mean, if you watch our videos, it's very much like a journey into us just kind of becoming our most authentic selves. And now when we create, we really do it for ourselves and our friends and, you know, this community we've created.
Dig it. I feel like I always talk about this, and I think so far I've kind of been wrong, but I kind of feel like just technology has allowed us to extend communication, and like it's sort of like a new form of conversation. Like we started off before there was language, and we would just like I don't know, poke each other and be like, no, don't eat my food or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And now you can downvote and say, downvote, don't
and
eat.
and now you can downvote when you're like, no, this is a bad place to post this. But yeah, I feel like sort of digital media has become an extension of communication, and YouTube is sort of like the mother of all of that right now, it seems.
Yeah.
And I feel like your channel represents that to some degree.
Yeah, it's really like YouTube is almost just a giant community of people just being their truest, honest selves and just kind of showing people their life and their journey in life. And I think that's really awesome, you know, especially doing things like body positivity and like being open and honest about mental health struggles and things like that. And I think that's also something that we tried to focus on in the beginning, and we always try to kind of have a little bit of a focus on too. So it's cool to be part of all that.
Yeah, I think that's something that definitely has like stayed in our bubble through all the iterations. And by all, I mean like 3.
No, I get that. Well, because it's weird. Like you have a vision for something and then you start it and you're maybe like, wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Or like, I didn't actually want to do this. What I actually wanted to do is this other thing. So
you can find out what you want along the way.
Yeah.
And also as like it became more of like a duo sort of thing instead of like a larger network, we were able to really like kind of rein in that focus as well.
Right. I heard body positivity and mental health. Are there any are those sort of the core aspects of it, or
chase your dream?
Yeah.
That's right.
My big thing I think was I've always kind of felt lost in life. Like I don't have a forever job that I'm super passionate about. I'm passionate about a lot of different things, and I want to follow all these different dreams and paths. So that was a big thing for me. But yeah, for sure. Also body positivity and mental health awareness is something that really pushes us.
I resonate with that. I feel like I could talk to you for a while about that, because I feel similarly, just in that, in terms of the like, I want to be doing all these different projects at once, but also being like, man, maybe I should just work on one and then like do all the other stuff like after, like do it rather than do them all.
Right.
But that's like that's a weird thing to balance.
I mean, and at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to prioritize those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like society puts a lot of pressure on you to follow one path instead of being like, but all these jars have all my favorite candies in them, and I want all of them. I can't have this one.
You can only have the milestone candy. That's how you measure your worth.
Favorite.
Yeah. No, I dig that. It is hard. It's hard to like, because I feel like people want to be able to put you in a box, because I feel like it becomes easier for them to like integrate you, right? Like I kind of put you guys in a box. I was just like, okay, I kind of want to do another video on growth, another podcast on like growth, because I think it's really important. And I was like, 100. I want to do so like people with like that are even smaller, that just work really hard, because I think there's a lot of people out there that work really hard but don't they're the people that you'll know about in 5 or 10 years, but you don't really know about them now. And like, and it's weird because I don't know. I don't want to I'll go on a tangent on that.
You're good. I mean, like, I remember when we first started making videos, I feel like we were stagnating for several months, probably 6 months, around like 18 followers on YouTube.
Right.
So that kind of resonates.
Yeah.
When Katie was like, 100, I was like, wait, we're not at 20 anymore?
Yeah, and I think as we get like further into this and further into the questions, a lot of like the reasoning for why will probably come out.
Right.
Yeah, it's just been wild.
Sorry. Oh, the why the channel, or why
the slow growth at first, and then like things we did to change it that made the growth a little bit stronger.
Yeah, because there's a million things to learn at the beginning, like how to turn on a camera and export a video and write hashtags and do a thumbnail.
Yes.
Like, oh wait, no, the audio wasn't recording.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing you can do though to increase your subscribers and viewers is you just need to either you pie your roommate or get your roommate to pie you in the face. And that's a really good starting point.
Dig it.
So,
Okay, cool.
Not wrong.
So new people, pies.
Yeah.
Pies
Yeah.
are the key. Pies, shock
plus
value.
pie.
The people love it. Yeah.
Um,
Our public loves the pies. I'm sorry. Okay.
what I guess, yeah, just getting into sort of the tactics of what you do to find growth. Is there like
Tactics.
there's this weird thing where you're like, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but it's like trying to be authentic while also trying to be like, because like for me, YouTube is sort of a conversation and the internet is a conversation where I'm like, I'm putting a bunch of stuff out there that like some of it I feel really strongly about and other of it I'm kind of like, how do you guys feel about this? But it's like, how much do you follow your own course versus like listen to the feedback of your audience and sort of adjust based on who you're trying to talk to?
I think that we do not take any guidance from any feedback and we just keep trucking along. No, that's, I don't know, Katie, your insight there?
Tap in. I think we do. So there was definitely a lot of research in the beginning about ways to make things successful. Like, what are other people doing? Like, especially maybe YouTubers that we liked a lot or blogs that we liked a lot. Like, what are they doing? And we tried those things out. And a lot of it, I feel like, depends on the personalities too of the people providing the content, because the viewers for that is all going to be different. So we tried out a lot of things that maybe didn't work so much, and now we're getting a lot more engagement and stuff, and like comments and likes and stuff like that. So we're able to use the feedback from the subscribers and the people who are watching us more and more on what kind of content they want us to create, so that we can be successful also while being ourselves. It's weird because it's like you want to have fun, but if you want to be successful, you have to like be a business person. So you really have to pie someone in the face.
Yeah.
The public said we want more pie. We listened. We did another pie thing.
And they loved it.
You know, it's the way the pie crumbles.
You're due for another one, actually, too, now that I think about it.
100%. Next weekend, we'll make that happen.
Okay.
Wait, what'd you say? You're going to do another pie thing or no?
So the first one we did was I had been trying to learn Japanese, and now Allie's also trying to learn Japanese. And so I was learning, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we did a thing where like you have cards and you ask me to say something in Japanese or what this Japanese phrase means. If I get it wrong, you get to pie me. Maybe people will like that. And guess what, Tosh? They loved it.
They like it. Dig it.
They loved it. They screamed more. So we gave them almost a year later. Coincidentally, we did a second one. So I think now it's been about another year. So I'm like, why not?
It's an annual thing now. Dig it. That sounds difficult.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at learning languages. I try.
I'm over here reinstalling Duolingo.
Duolingo's pretty good. I'm good with pronunciation. I think it's just like, me trying to learn language, I'd rather just go to the country and just try and just stare at people and be like,
we did that. And I called a lady a frappuccino, or I said I was a frappuccino.
Yes.
But she understood. So
the body language matters, right?
It did. Yeah.
Detention. Yeah. I am a bicycle. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Do you guys look at like the analytics and stuff like that?
I don't know about okay. Allie just did a side eye, like, what was the question? And I
was over here like,
Allie, are you playing video games?
Disconnected. No, I am trying to figure out my Duolingo login.
Okay.
I do. look at them. In the beginning, I think, because like you said in the beginning, you're like, how do I work this camera? And like all the other millions of things. So I think in the beginning, the analytics is something I was not looking at as much. And I am looking at that more. And so I'm trying to take that into account when we're talking about like what kind of content we want to create and stuff like that. But it's very confusing. Again, there's that business aspect of it.
Yeah. And I have two modes. I have Monica Geller style spreadsheets, all the information, give me all the data while I organize it and analyze it. And then I have completely hands off. So right now I am completely hands off with analytics, and that's okay. We got that balance.
Yeah, no, I go ahead.
Numbers.
You do numbers.
I do. I can do them, Tosh.
You can do the numbers. Cool. If I need anyone to do the numbers, I know where to go.
You get in touch with me.
That's good. I come from like a business type background. I like brainwash myself into doing too many numbers. And then I when I started making content, I actually started with like a vlog channel, also like in Virginia, and was like, sorry.
Oh no, I just said word. I didn't know if we ever. Oh yeah, no. Continue. Yes.
No, I came across you guys because you did a collaboration with Sauce is Matisse.
Oh, yeah.
Matt.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, and I just like kind of follow what's going on in the Charlottesville area because I'm from there. Yeah. But what am I trying to say here? I don't remember. Just vlogging is like, it's a specific type of content and it's a specific type of channel and a specific type of like kind of viewer that you're going to get, because most people don't watch vlogs, right? Yeah. It's like, I mean, to me anyway. And like when I started making them, I started watching them and I became sort of more in that world. But I guess you guys do other types of content too. But that's sort of, it's, I don't know, just in regards to analytics and stuff. Oh, sorry. When I first started making vlogs, I was like, I threw all the like business stuff kind of in the trash and was just like, I'm going to be me for a while. And then I was like, okay, but also it'd be cool to get some feedback on all this work that I'm doing, like learning how to do this stuff. And and it's weird to like sort of combine those two worlds, like what Allie was saying about like, you know, you're either like full organization or and then if you do that for a minute, you're like, I need to like do anything. I need to just like chill out and not think about anything related to lists or math or categories or like growth or whatever. And I just need to chill. And it's weird to sort of try and mix those worlds and like make them cohesive, because I feel like, at least for me, in terms of like finding the people that I want to find on the internet, that is maybe an important part of it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think I just reset my Duolingo password.
Nice.
Throughout the whole podcast is going to be Allie's journey with Duolingo. So, I mean, I think that's like, again, just to go back to the, like, you're trying to take the reins on all this different stuff when you start this, that, there were definitely times where we threw ourselves into like the businessy part of it, and I don't think we were focusing enough on just having fun, and maybe we needed to like have less, I don't know, do less business, have more fun. Like finding the balance is so hard.
It is, because I mean, and when you're creating content, if you want to do it consistently, it's essentially a full-time job. And if you're working another job, especially if you have overtime, on top of that, it's really easy to lead to have that lead towards just severe burnout, especially if you're only creating content for basically other people. It's really important to make sure you're able to keep it as something that recharges you, energizes you, and that you enjoy doing. Because I think we did get to a point for a while where it did feel more like a responsibility and an obligation as opposed to something fun. I think that was specifically for you, Katie, because Katie does all of the video editing and all that fun stuff. And then when work also has you doing video editing and it becomes your entire life, it's important to be able to be like, you know what? reining back, focusing on me, and just taking care of yourself and your mental state. Because if you're not totally present, you're not able to deliver that like final product to the viewers the way you want it to.
Yeah, and also like, what's the point if you're not going to be good or okay?
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Like if you're not having fun,
not getting anything out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you're in the internet, if you're in media or the internet, like internet media for the money, you're probably like,
if you
I don't know. I've never. If you're in the internet,
style movie based on you.
Talk to Wreck-It Ralph, because like he's got that figured out. All these questions are based on growth. I wrote so many questions based on like growth and stuff. What was there anything that kind of stood out when you guys read them that you were like, oh, I want to answer that. I feel strongly about that.
So I'm doing the Zoom on my phone and I can't see the questions anymore.
Okay, good. Okay.
All of them? You did such a good job writing them.
I wrote way too many questions. Okay, well, so one thing you said just about like it being not a chore. I think like making it be fun. I think that people get the idea in the head that when they start, they need to, it's two things. They either need to make like a perfect product is one, or when they start, they need to have it kind of all figured out. So I guess that's kind of the same thing. But the thing is that you don't realize what you're going to like and what you're going to hate until you start. So like for this podcast, I used to edit vlogs and I used to spend like 8 hours a day. I daily vlogged for 2 months and I was doing weekly vlogs for like probably a couple months. So like 3 or 4 months, it was just a lot of vlogging. And that's sort of how I cut my teeth learning how to edit. And like that got, at first it was fun and then it was exhausting and just like all encompassing. And if you, but also it was like, I realized that and I was like, okay, I don't have to keep doing this. I don't have to create the perfect product. I just pivot it and change it in the way that I want to be able to make it. So like, for example, this podcast I really like, and I'm always just being like, how can I make this easier? And so like how I make it easier now, it's a little shitty. It's a little choppy when I like do the intro, which sucks for my viewers. Or
it's also authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
But also it's like, then I don't have to edit and sit around and export and just like, I guess as you know, Katie, like post-production is, for me, it was like 90% of it just took so much time. It takes forever to like rewatch yourself back over. You just see it so many times.
Every time I watch like movies and TV now, I think, wow, those actors are having so much fun. I feel so bad for the people who don't get to have the fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, editing is fun in a way, but yes, it is like 90% of it. Like you do the thing and then you just walk away from it and you've gone like a third into the mile and you like still have so much left to go. So
yeah, I started to think about post-production. I mean, I don't know. I guess I started making videos like 4 years ago and just making stuff 4 years ago. But I just, so much of it has moved into like what would make this both easy and valuable. Like valuable for us, valuable for the people listening to it. And I think that's important in terms of it not being all encompassing and sort of staying refreshed and doing what you want. There's like the Hollywood rule, which is like one for them, one for you type thing, which I don't know how I feel about, but I think it's interesting. You like make one video for your audience and then you make one video for you guys.
Yeah.
So what else has been like, I'm impressed with the sheer volume. You guys have so many videos. Like so many videos is it like a 2 year? I followed you. I subscribed to you at like, it was probably around that 13. It was like the first video that you did with Sauce.
Yeah, I think that was one of our very first videos.
Oh yeah, that was real. Yeah. That was one of the originals. And I think like as we were doing this, we weren't really sure about how often we wanted to post and things like that. And then I think we really started trying to hammer down and being like, if we really want this to work, we need to be posting consistently, preferably weekly. And that's when we've seen the most growth, is when we've been posting every single week about the same day every week. That's when we gained the most subscribers. So.
And I'll say also at the beginning, we had a website URL. We were doing blogs, written articles, YouTube, Facebook interactions. It was a lot. It was a lot. And we made the decision after about a year, and we were like, you know what, we're not going to keep the website URL. We're going to go ahead and let that go, because that's, we want to really zero in on what we enjoy the most and what people seem to enjoy the most, which was the YouTube videos. And I think
real quick, jump on back to analytics there. Something we noticed was that the website wasn't doing anything for us.
No.
There was no point in keeping it.
Not at all.
So we kind of look at that stuff to decide what to taper off on.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, websites. I had a website too for a while. I'm imagine I might have one in the future, but websites are good for selling stuff and consolidating all your different work, but it's not the YouTube is basically like a new TV channel. And I feel like, just speaking to that in terms of being consistent, I think a lot of people think about their audience, but you also have to think about it in a way. This is going to sound terrible. I feel like I'm making everything sound so depressed. But you're also working with YouTube, and you're working, YouTube wants to know, are you going to be here next week? Because we don't want to just have you, we're not going to we're not going to put you on channel pages or, whatever, if you're not going to be here next week. And I think it's thinking about that in terms of bridging a gap, and I feel somewhat like a middleman sometimes, just in that I'm helping YouTube, and YouTube's helping me, but I'm also helping the audience. So I'm kind of the go-between between YouTube and the audience. That's a weird way to look at it. I've never really described that out loud, but it's something it's thinking about the fact that you are on a platform that also has goals and needs, I guess. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I wrote too many questions.
No such thing at all.
Not at all.
What's the pinnacle of what do you feel is the thing that's most what do you do on a day-to-day for the channel? What do you find yourself doing every day that you just either want to do or that you feel is important, when you open, or maybe not every day, but maybe every week or every time you post a video? What are the things that you focus on?
So
is that too much?
It's crazy, because I feel like I keep going back to how things have changed so much since we started doing this, and the things we used to focus on are not so much the things we do now. I would say a lot of it now is we focus a lot more on the content creation. Okay, what have we been doing? What is working? What if people say they like? What do they not like? What do we like?
What did we not like?
What do we want to do? And I think that's why we also started doing travel videos and stuff like that. We went to San Francisco and did some content for there. We did stuff for Japan, and we have more Japan stuff that we're going to put out.
It's going to come out soon.
So thinking
subtle
about
plug.
That,
love it.
Right? Watch our Japan stuff. We met deer.
We did meet some deer. They were delightful.
Maybe for you, there is a video of me running in terror from the deer.
Oh, it is hilarious.
But personally, to speak for myself, I edit every week, and it might be multiple videos I edit every week. I don't necessarily finish them every week, but I work on them over time. And so it's kind of, for me, trying to push myself to try something different so that the videos just don't look the same as time goes on. I want there to be like a growth and it look like I'm actually getting better at what I'm doing. So
Right.
yeah.
I think you are. I haven't watched a lot of your stuff, but I guess I've watched your journey as business people. I'm excited. I think like at the end of this podcast, I'm kind of curious about like the less businessy side of it. But it does seem like you're improving on the technical side, and the technical side I feel like is so huge because you're just like learning how to communicate with a computer and like
yeah,
and that's really all Katie, and just, you know, publicly like shouting out to Katie and I were roommates for several years, and just seeing her dive into the world of video editing, coming in with no prior knowledge and just doing all of that independent research, like, was one of the most inspiring things that I've ever really like experienced. Like, and I don't know, just like, it's been really cool seeing her journey just as a videographer and an editor. So just kind of
props for that, because like learning, sitting there, I was just sat there with a really high speed internet connection and was just like trying to siphon through YouTube videos. And it's the worst thing is that like when you don't really know anything, like learning any one thing, there's like 100 things to learn in learning any one thing. For me, I was like learning how to learn from the internet because I was so used to learning from school. And like people around me, and I was like, there's no one around me I can ask. I just have to sit here and like figure out the right thing to type in, and then have to siphon through all this crap.
Exactly. Dude, I remember when we first started, every time I would go to edit, I think it was when I first started using Adobe Premiere, every time, every 10 minutes, I was on Google, like, how do I do this in Adobe Premiere? And I was just like watching videos nonstop. So,
And you're like, and you realize you're like, oh, I really shouldn't be watching this 20-minute video. I should probably watch the 2-minute video. It's like, it's so painful. I wasted so like learning how to edit it also feels so powerful, but it does. Like,
what a lot of people don't realize is that I think that on YouTube, a lot of the people who make content, maybe it wouldn't be as good if they didn't edit it the way that they did. It really makes the content. Not to say that I'm the one making it. Like, obviously, like Allie comes up with
clearly you do nothing, Allie. You bring nothing to the table.
I just show up, and half the time I don't
screen.
even know what's going on. Like, I just sit there until Katie tells me to eat something. It tastes.
Allie, you're getting hit with a pie today. All right, cool.
I will say I have yet to be pied.
It's always been me. Why do I do this to myself?
I don't know. You sound a bit masochistic. You like learned how to edit from the internet, and
you're like, I'm gonna work 2 full-time jobs, and then you're gonna pie me in the face, and I'm over here like eating mac and cheese, like, okay.
That's intense. That's a lot. How did you guys meet each other? How do you know each other?
I feel like Allie remembers that story probably better than I do. It was in middle school.
I think the moment that like we had our stepbrothers, did we just become best friends? Like, was in 7th grade. We met in 6th grade just because kids all know each other when they're in classes and stuff. But one of us had a Converse shoebox. I think, did I have the shoebox? Did you have the shoebox?
It was probably you.
For like a diorama or something. And we're like, oh yeah, but it's not just a box. And we looked at each other and go, it's a boxy box. And it became like the best thing because we both said the same stupid thing at the same time. So, and then in high school we played in a band together. And then when we were like 18 or 19, we became roommates, and we've been roommates like on and off for the better part of a decade.
Wow.
So.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. And now you're so far away.
I'm not like that far.
100 miles.
Where do you guys live? Charlottesville?
Allie still lives in Charlottesville. I live in Richmond.
Go to Richmond.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I wanted that big city life.
Did you guys grow up? Where'd you guys grow up?
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
Yeah.
I get that. I grew up a lot of places, but I grew up around Charlottesville mostly, and like I remember I lived in Charlottesville a couple years ago, and I remember just kind of being like, not to throw any shade, but I remember being like, man, Richmond is why didn't I grow up closer to Richmond?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
after
still, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, after coming back from Salt Lake City, I'm just like, wow, we are in a small little town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I still work in Charlottesville, so every time I drive into Charlottesville, I'm just like, it feels crazy being there now when I go into work. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You like drive by a cow field and then Main Street, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Like total, Richmond and Charlottesville are like total polar opposites.
Yeah, culturally they're very different too.
And like I'm very introverted, so I even like pre-quarantine, I don't leave the house much. Most of the stuff I do involves being in the house. When I do leave the house, it's going to Nova, Richmond, somewhere that is not Charlottesville.
Right, yeah.
So for me, it's like not a big deal being here because I'm just like, wherever I live, I'm just gonna sit here and do my stuff.
Yeah. I live in
So-
like the center of chaos, and I'm also an introvert, so I
Yeah.
get that. Okay, wait. I have another kind of like YouTube question. Do you guys do checklists at all? I was talking to another creator in your area who was on the other growth podcast I did. And
who are they? Tell us. Okay, we'll find them. We're the only ones.
Get him. His name's Drummond. Drummond.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You guys know him. I feel like if you live in a small town and there's like anyone else who like creates anything, especially in Charlottesville, where you say like, "What are you doing?" and you're like, "I'm creating stuff," and they're like, "Well, good luck with that." Like, you know all the other people, or you're kind of like at least aware that they like have something going on over there. And it's also weird because I feel like people are like, well, what I'm doing is cooler than what you're doing. You're like, dude, well, why? You're the only people like making anything in a 300 square mile radius. Like, talk to each other. You can help each other.
We have to hate each other.
But like, here's the thing: is like, but if they're really terrible, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, I mean, if they're
everybody's great in their own way.
That's like what this. I feel like when I was a kid, I never thought about that. Really, I was just like, man, I'm like either getting bullied or like I'm just trying to make friends or whatever. But like now, I feel like, and maybe this is just my own judgmental bullshit, but I feel like I just like there's so much just like looking at people on the internet and being like, well, I'm not going to talk to them because, you know.
How do you make friends? I don't know anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I asked about a checklist. I have another question after that. Do you guys use them?
Just I would say checklist. Not really. Sometimes we'll have like a general structure of things that we want to go over, but it really depends on the kind of video we're doing. Most of our videos that I can think of off the top of my head are going to be us trying something. So for that, it's basically like step 1, are you set up? Step 2, try the thing. Step 3, watch the thing.
Yeah.
So, but there are occasionally, like we do like some cooking videos where we need like our recipes and we need to make sure we touch on like X, Y, and Z. So official checklists, at least not the ones that we do together. I think there's been like a couple that I've like charted out in terms of like storyboard style, like with like the
for the skits and stuff.
Yeah, and the sushi sandwich one I had on because I was like, oh god, I can't talk by myself without dialogue. How am I gonna make that a thing? But I'm not sure about like for the ones that you do independently, if you have a checklist or if you just follow your heart.
No. You know me, I always follow the heart.
Yes.
Yeah. Since the majority of mine are like trying something new or following a dream, it's really just like what she said, like get set up, do thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I think of it, I feel like I have seen a few videos that have like one of those two vibes. It's either like passionate. It's either like passionate, or it's kind of like you showed up and you're like, well, I guess we're doing this today. Like, let's see how it goes, which is pretty fun because it's like so. I don't know. It's just I think that concept is funny because I feel like it is like the best part of life, which is like it's so easy to take yourself seriously and be like career and like what do I stand for and yada yada yada. Whereas like it's kind of just like for me anyway. It's like I was born and I guess I'm like well I guess what am I doing today?
Yeah. Yeah, so one, I want our new bio to be, well, I guess this is what we're doing today.
Yes.
And then two, yes, like I think that there's like some sort of like authenticity or like realness that comes with just trying something out.
Yeah.
And like being like, we don't know what's gonna happen either. Let's do this together as a family. So
yeah, the other side of that is like because there's a lot of people who make stuff who like make sure it's perfect first.
yeah.
Like a dude perfect YouTube channel, which
Oh my gosh. If only. We should try to do a dude perfect like shot.
Sorry, I'm over here making this noise. I'm sorry. For me, perfection is so boring. If I'm watching like a YouTube video,
I agree.
And they're like, "Hello, I'm here with my perfect makeup, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how it's
perfect.
like to make a little shirt for my hamster." I'm just like, you are so boring.
Also make shirts for hamsters.
100%. I mean, there's a reason why that's like in the forefront of my brain, obviously. But I'm just like, perfection is boring. Scripted for me, it's just, I can't have interest. I want to see the real, you know?
Yeah. And I also think,
go on ahead.
You go.
I think comedy is almost the base of everything we do because we want people to have fun. And so we try to make everything fun and funny and real. Otherwise, just kind of go off what she said. It doesn't feel, I can't relate to you when your life seems perfect because I trip over my own feet 27 times every day. And if you're not doing that, then I can't be perfect and it'll never happen. So
I dig.
Like,
go ahead. You go.
It's just like, what even is being a person anymore? Like, I don't want these like, you know, it goes into the like, fuck your beauty standards. Like, I don't want that cookie cutter, you know, I want to see somebody eating a bowl full of rice cakes that's so spicy they're crying, you know, because that's what resonates with me, you know? Like, I want to see somebody who is just trying their best the same way you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Perfection's boring.
I think I like that. That's like, I feel like you're kind of making me realize that a lot of I don't know. It's just, you guys are okay with failure. And I feel like I meet so many people today. No, it's true. Because like you understand that failure is part of success. And I feel like so many people today.
Oh man. Yeah. One of my favorite, I mean, yes, I love, God, that was beautiful. One of the things I love to say to people is nobody ever starts at 100. That's nonsense. Michael Jordan didn't start out being the best basketball player the second he touched the basketball. Like, you have to fail to become good because the failure is what's going to push you.
But also like Michael Jordan might have started
Air Bud, man.
as the worst. Yeah. Like, I think that's like, for me, I always start anything that I do. I am the worst person there. Like, I want to be the worst person in the room. If I'm not the worst person in the room, I like
nobody feels bad for you and gives you all their secrets.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like,
make people pity you. Yeah.
Don't be threatened. Give me your secret.
Yeah, that's definitely, I definitely do that for sure. But it's like when you approach it like you're an idiot, then people help you. And then also like, you have something to learn. Like, people are exhausting when they're like, hi, I have it all figured out, so like follow me, listen to me.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think being the worst person in the room, like I always get that chip on my shoulder, which is like, okay, I actually want to be really good at this. And then I end up being really good because I work way harder and I have to learn everything slowly and thoroughly. Whereas like some people were just kind of naturally better at it or what have you.
Yeah.
Naturally bad at everything. That's going to be my new bio.
That's your gift. Yeah. You're the best at being the worst at everything.
Oh my god, that hits so close to home.
I've always wanted.
So I'm gonna go full nerd for a minute.
Yes.
So in Dungeons and Dragons, there are 3 sorts of arcane spellcasters. So you have your wizard, warlock, and sorcerer. For somebody who doesn't play D&D, you're like, what's the difference?
What about druids? You're a noob. All right, let's go back to talking to Katie.
No. Druids, bards, and clerics. I don't consider those like arcane spellcasters. You know, like they're different enough.
Typical judgmental warlock.
Oh no, warlock is my least favorite class, but I'll get into that some other time. I'll go on about D&D all day. So druid, bard, cleric, I guess blood hunter to some extent. Anyways, artificer, they do not work for this analogy. So going back to the 3 main arcane spellcaster classes: wizard, warlock, and sorcerer. So there are actually warlocks don't fit very well into this. So warlocks get their powers from making a pact with a patron of some sort. So that's how they get their magic powers, is basically like...
So for people who aren't complete nerds like Allie and me, that means like I don't want to say... They have like they have like they have like a little demon that rolls around with them that works with them to do things in this imaginary world.
They've got like a demon sugar daddy, basically.
Okay, cool. Dig it.
Like,
yes.
hooks you up with your powers.
Cool.
The next one are wizards, and wizards, learn spell casting through study and just study and study and study and study and study. They learn everything. Then there's sorcerers who are just like, I was born this way. Like no effort. They're just like, bam, I'm magic. So what I'm saying is we're the wizards.
I love that. That's actually a really good analogy. I don't know if I've ever thought about like D&D archetypes like that or D&D things. Cause I played World of Warcraft and like I played D&D when I was a kid. But yeah, that's an interesting way to look at that.
If you're looking for more D&D, just hit me up after the recording and I can get you.
Dude, I love D&D. I love like all that stuff, but I don't really. I guess it's just been a while since I've messed with it. I feel like.
Anybody hear that?
It's been a long time. Sorry.
I had to get back in there. I've been lost in the D&D talk.
I'm sorry.
Give us some more song action. I didn't know you guys were musicians either. That's cool.
Oh, I thought he meant because I just went, it's been a while.
I did. I thought you were like, it's been a while. Okay, collaborations. How do you guys think about collaborations? What do you say yes to? What do you say no to?
So for collaborations, we go, okay, who do we know and what are they doing? Do we want to get in on that? Would they be a good addition? And when we say yes, it's because you asked us to do this podcast.
just ask. Dig it. Cool.
I think we're pretty open to working with almost anybody. I mean, obviously we'll like look at what they do, and if there's anything questionable, like
if they're like, send us like $8,000 and we'll get you some followers on Instagram, then we're kind of like, oh,
maybe pass on this one. Okay, cool. I get. All right. I'm just taking notes. Set low standards.
Yeah, set really low. Unless you
Low standards, be ready to fail, don't be naturally good at anything. Try your best, sad face.
Don't be
After
the
this,
sorcerer.
You should do a TED Talk of
Oh,
all the information we've given you.
A TED Talk? I
You
don't
should host a
reach out
TED
to
Talk.
Ted. That seems like a TED. That seems like a lot of work. Like, it's also a little bit over. It's a lot. Have you listened to a TED Talk recently?
They're so long. I
They're
just imagine it's all smarties.
And it's like they have one thing to say. They go on for 20 minutes and they say something like, and that's why I think that you should use smaller bicycle wheels. And it's very TED Talks are like the one person show. It's
I
like
want TED Talks to no longer announce what they're about until you're like in it, and then you're stuck there and you're like, what is this even about? And you have to wait until the very end. Excuse me, sorry. That's
true. Yeah, they do that. They don't tell
I
you
want
what
like
it's
a
about.
TED Talk blind
Drives me
box.
It's like clickbait. TED Talks have become clickbait.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's like because I know we'll be looking at this in 10 years and we'll be like, oh my gosh, I sound like, or that's how I'll be. I'll just be like, I sound so ridiculous. But at the time, this was actually, no, I sounded ridiculous at the time too. So I wanted to talk about, do you guys have like, so it sounds like body positivity and mental health stuff. Is there like something within those two things, or sorry, sometimes it takes me a second to get to the question. What do you feel people don't talk about in regards to those topics in that community already? So like if you are with your group of friends or your groups of friends that are down to talk about mental health or down to talk about body positivity, what are the things that you feel it would be good to talk more about that people don't talk about?
Yes.
A lot of it, honestly, I think is just talking about it at all.
Yeah.
Especially with men in particular. I think that men are really like like society has made them feel like they're only allowed to be masculine and like you're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to say that you're sad or something like that or have depression. And so trying to help people open up and feel comfortable and like have a comfortable, safe space or community that they can open up with those thoughts or opinions.
Katie just nailed it. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Do you feel like, I guess in this, I've been a part of different sort of various like self-improvement, for lack of a better catch-all term way of like saying, communities. I've been in those types of communities before. And I think there's this thing that happens where people, I don't know. I feel like they take what happens in that community and they sort of like, if they don't like it, they sort of use it against you outside of that community. Do you guys feel like,
cool.
Sorry?
I mean, I was just saying that's not cool.
No, it's not. It sucks. But I definitely think like, I don't know. I guess I just like, I think it's really important to be able to talk about emotions and then also talk about like non-emotions. I don't know, logic or, whatever the contrast to emotions are. But it does, I feel like people think that if you're an emotional person, you can't be a logical person and vice versa. I feel like that's a big issue. You feel similarly?
I think that's true. I haven't experienced in a long time people kind of like throwing things back at you. I feel like that's just kind of an indication that maybe those aren't the kind of people that you really, need to connect with in the future. Yeah. So kind of taking that with a grain of salt. And this is a little bit of a tangent, but I feel like the most freeing moment is when you stop caring what other people think and what other people's perceptions of you are. And that's something that we do kind of strive to try to get other people to embrace a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like one of those like, by example, like
right. Yeah.
an attempt
lead
to
by-
like inspire by example, to be like, well, hey, look, we're taking these garbage pre-shot things because we can't remember what letter comes after G, and we don't care if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So, also, speaking of kind of like conditions that you can't like look at somebody and tell. If you haven't noticed, I have extreme ADD, and I have not taken any medication for it today, and I forgot what I started saying. So I'm going to mute my mic and sneeze and let you all carry on the conversation, and I will recollect my thoughts.
Okay. I mean, I pretty much agree with what she was saying. Like the really not caring about what people think about you is honestly like a superpower. And I can't really say that there's any way to just wake up one morning and not care anymore. I think a lot of it just comes with getting older and learning.
Quarantine.
Yes. This is also true. We've all had to be alone with ourselves for a long time, so we're the only ones who will truly love us.
That's true.
That was really sad when I just said I realized that. Yeah.
but we can always love ourselves, right?
Yes.
Dang it, I keep forgetting what I want to say as soon as I like start talking.
I've got the questions in front of me. I can read them off one by one.
You read him the questions and then you read them back to both of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just had an aneurysm. I'm so confused. What?
Yes. Does that answer the question?
Yes answers the question. Yeah, I think what you were saying about not caring, I think people think that there is like a day where you wake up and you're like, I just don't give a fuck anymore. And I feel like that has happened to me multiple times, but then I start caring again. And so like, I'll like have that attitude for a day or whatever. But I think in terms of just like not care or like not caring what other people think, it's like, you have to do it. You have to practice it. Like that is a skill that it's like editing. There's a million things to learn. And sometimes you go like, well, I don't care what you think. And then you're like, man, maybe I was a little bit too not caring. Like I do care what they think. I just don't care if they're going to be critical and unconstructive.
Yeah.
So just like, I don't know, like being you and not caring what people think, I think like can take a step at a time, and a lot of people think it happens overnight, right? Something you develop.
Sometimes
having a YouTube channel is a good way to do that too, right?
Sometimes you just gotta tune out the haters.
Yeah, tune out the haters.
I was waiting for you to like put on some sunglasses or something after you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's really, I mean, like, even I'm almost 30 and I literally have just now started realizing that I can say no to people. And if they're mad, that's fine. I don't care. That doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't need to spread myself out thin to make everybody happy because I care about if they're upset with me or not. So it's just every day it gets easier.
Yeah, no, I relate to that. I didn't know how to say no to people very easily, and it's just fine to just be like, no, I don't want to do that. It's not like for me. Like there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging it, but it's just like I'm gonna pass on that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something I still struggle with to this day.
Yeah.
I just had to lay some boundaries recently. So
yeah.
Interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, because no one's ever stoked that you're laying the boundary, right? You're like, I'm gonna lay some boundaries to do better to like be a better me, and they're like, excuse.
My experience has actually been the opposite. As I have a lot of anxiety and hesitation because I'm worried that when I do set those boundaries and do prioritize myself by saying no, that the response I'll be met with is very like, oh, man, but why? Whereas my recent experience has evolved in that the other people involved are all much more understanding and supportive. And if they are really people like in, you know, who are there for you, then they're going to understand, respect that, and want you to do what's best for yourself. And they will support you without judgment. And if anything, even encourage you to take that time for yourself and really respect those boundaries.
I literally just did that to you this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
I was supposed to go over to Allie's so we could hang out and also do the podcast in the same place, but I couldn't get to sleep till 7 a.m. And I was like, I'm an hour away, and I was like, I can't. It won't be safe if I do the drive, and I need more sleep. And she was like, that's fine. I'm sorry. Are you okay? And I was like, oh, yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. It sounds like it's good to like, especially when you are like, I don't know, balancing a friendship and a YouTube channel or whatever. It just, there's a lot of different stuff going on. Like when you start doing different things together. But yeah, I agree with that. And it's like hard to, or for me, it's still difficult sometimes to like let certain people kind of go, or at least for a while when you like set a boundary and they're not supportive of the boundary. They're kind of like, well, fuck you. And you're like, okay, well, I mean, or maybe not that extreme, but they're just like, well, I don't understand.
You have people in your life that are saying fuck you to your face all the time.
All the time.
Oh,
all
man. You should hire us to be your bouncers.
Boundary bouncers. Oh my God. Can that be our next video series? Our boundary.
We call BBs. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We want to write so many skits and do so many skit videos.
I like that as a skit. That sounds good. Skits are I'm trying to write more skits too. I'm still like finding writing partners and stuff like that, but
well, if you haven't seen oh my gosh, what was the one with Ken and Vincent called again? Oh, I remember now. Butthole Johnson. Yeah, that's
Is that on your channel?
It is.
I think it's set up as like Channel 7 News or something. We should just re-upload them as the Butthole Johnson Chronicles.
It's pretty good. It's about a news team who they have a new weatherman, and his name is Butthole John. Oh no!
Oh no, he's the street reporter.
Yeah, and his name is Butthole Johnson, and the weatherman can't handle it. And he descends, and it makes him go insane. And actually, so,
would it be possible to take all of those, I think five videos, and put them into one long video and call it the Butthole Johnson Chronicles?
Just so, if you
so people know what they're getting into, instead of like, what's Channel 7 News updates?
So they know. Yeah.
You should put it all in one video and send it to me. I want to see the Butthole Johnson Chronicles.
So we have fun.
What else? Is there anything else that you guys feel compelled to talk about, want to talk about before we end this thing?
Follow your dreams. Don't be afraid of failure, and learn to fly, baby birds. Learn to fly. I don't know.
What she said. Yeah. Follow all your dreams. Seriously. Like, if you have 20, that's fine. I don't care. Follow them all. Be a scuba diver and a manatee, I don't know, handler? I don't know.
I was about to say, be a manatee? Like, I would love to be a manatee. That sounds
if you want to be a manatee, be a manatee.
Oh, the manatee.
Oh, God.
Oh, the human.
You guys are such YouTubers.
Manatee.
I love it.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I'm going to take it as such.
It's such a culture. It's such a culture. It's not like a compliment or an insult. It's just, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
It just
I'm on my podcaster vibe right now, but like, I was once a YouTuber too. I did a lot of wordplay. I was cool once, guys.
Okay.
Cool. Well, if people enjoyed this podcast and want to get to know more about Katie and Allie and the Protag project, I'll put that in the link below. to the link to their YouTube. The link to their YouTube channel.
Just search YouTube for Butthole Johnson Chronicles. Nothing bad will come up, I promise.
Yeah.
I make no promises. I have.
Do you think it will? I feel like I always tell people to search. That's why everything that I brand is just my name, because it's like telling people to search anything never used to work for me.
I believe we are the first result for when you type in the Protag project to the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Or if you Google the Protag project YouTube, it should come up, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna fact check that.
I think you are.
You are right. We are the first one that comes up.
As long as it's, and if it's, we are.
Dig it.
I wouldn't recommend typing Butthole Johnson into Google. But,
I mean, you can, but you just might not come to the Protag project.
it won't be us. I feel pretty certain about that. Whatever those videos are.
That's we take no responsibility unless it's really great content, in which case
that was us.
Like and subscribe. That was us for sure.
Like and subscribe.
Cool. Well, I guess hit us up, listeners, if you enjoy the podcast, and let me know if there's a certain guest that you would like to have me have on next. Wow, I can't talk today. Cool. All right, this has been the Butthole Anchor podcast. Peace, everybody.